On today's episode of the Real Recovery Podcast, episode number 101, we welcome Austin. Austin shares a powerful and thoughtful journey that includes incarceration, deep self-reflection, and a commitment to building a life rooted in service and recovery. He speaks candidly about how prison became a place of transformation, the mentors who helped light the path forward, and how recovery evolved from survival into self-love, purpose, and responsibility. This conversation explores identity, community, emotional needs, and what it truly means to show up for yourself and others in recovery. Austin's story is honest, grounded, and deeply human, and a reminder that growth is possible when we choose to do the work.
Hello, and welcome to the Real Recovery Podcast. I'm Julie, your co-host. On this journey of healing and transformation, together with my co-host Peter, we dive into the heart of recovery, sharing stories that resonate with courage and inspiration.
That's right, Julie. Each episode is a new chapter in this vast narrative of recovery, and we're honored to bring them to you. But keep in mind the perspectives you'll hear are for informational purposes only and may not reflect the views of the podcast or our partners.
Indeed, while these conversations can be a powerful part of your recovery toolkit, they are not substitute for professional medical advice. We encourage you to seek guidance from your healthcare provider for any treatment-related decisions.
And if you're facing an immediate crisis, or if you just need to talk to someone who understands, don't hesitate to call the Recovery Crisis Line at 503-223-8569. That number is also on our website. Help is available 24/7.
Now let's begin our episode
Of recovery, real recovery.
Hi, this is Julie with the Real Recovery Podcast.
And this is Peter. Hello.
And I'm really excited about our guest today. Met you at the Oregon Recovery Walk. I love that. And you actually came up to us, which was really cool. Yeah. And then you knew everyone I know. It was really cool. And you work at a place that we really admire. Mike Covey I love him.
Yeah, Mike Hubby and I met while I was at the Oregon State Penitentiary. And I think I was 2 years away from my release when I met him in Narisa. And Mike just brightened up the path and made it see, okay, hey, you can go work at Fora Health when you get out. He's like, there's a $23 million building. It's like a doja of like recovery and treatment. It's the best place ever. And I was imagining this while in prison.
It's the Hilton, I will say. Yeah. Can you tell our listeners your name?
My name is Austin Cole Keever Nyberg.
Whoa. Can you say that again? I didn't know all that.
Austin is my first name. Cole is my middle name. My mom picked that one out. And then Keever is my mom's side. And then they hyphenated it with Nyberg, which is my father's side.
Wow.
Yeah.
4 names. Shit. I got a 5-letter first name and a 5-letter last name.
I know. I was like, growing up, it was the worst because they would say Kefar Nyberg, like they couldn't say it. I was like always embarrassed in the class. It was just another thing that was in my childhood that I had to deal with. There's a lot of those stuff that we deal with. Yeah.
So for our audience, because they don't get to see you, you're 26 or 27?
I'm now 28 in December.
Ooh.
In December, I was turned 28.
Yeah. He's young, and story is powerful, really powerful. I'm going to let you start wherever you want. There's no wrong or right. You can say fuck on this podcast. I'm not saying that you will, but you can. And it's personally my favorite thing to do.
When it's the right time to use it. It's really
I
good.
use it all the time. I just have a potty mouth. But I am so excited this won't be played on Martin Luther King Day, but I'm so grateful you and I both have the day off, 3-day weekend.
Yes.
And making the most of it.
Yeah. So I guess just to start, thank you for having me here on the podcast with you today. It's an honor to be with you both. And I am so grateful. I think that's something that I've been working on a little bit more lately. Throughout the process of my recovery has been a lot of gratitude, recognizing where I hit rock bottom. And it was a really big rock bottom. I think everyone has one. And how many do you want? is the question. I think I don't want any more. That was good enough for me.
Though there will be challenges, my man.
Yeah.
I've been sober a long time, and the last 3 years have been the most challenging, not as far as using drugs, because I was an IV drug user, not as far as criminality, but lives, and just stay grounded in gratitude.
I think that's your rock bottom. There isn't many of them. There's just the one. Could be dips before it, but when you hit that one, and for me, I look back at those dark days and I never, ever want to go back there. It's
personally losing my freedom was the absolute worst. Having somebody what to wear, tell me what to wear, not get my nails done, not get my hair done.
Yeah, getting arrested, going to prison. Yeah, and I can relate to you. And I think just the rock bottoms, though, when the people that we're working with, even at Fora Health, they're people that are in the midst of their active addiction, a lot of them. And I always tell them, like, you can be like the guys that are homeless or the gals that are homeless on the streets right now. They're looking for another rock bottom. They're looking for an even deeper rock bottom. They haven't recognized that can be rock bottom. And for me, it was like, I have to be arrested. I have to be taken to prison for 5.5 years. And that was, I think, my rock bottom, where I was like, okay, this is enough. And now I can wake up and take some accountability, because I could have continued until I was 25 years old, living at home, having mom and pay the bills. Like, I was completely fine with that. That was my addict brain, just totally cool with somebody taking care of me and not being a man and not growing up. Even after I got out, I was still thinking, hey, I still don't really want to grow up. So there was still some arrested development in the process of my prison. But my prison experience, I think, showed me that I could recover, and I never had the opportunity to get into treatment. And I think mine was pretty significant, where it was like, hey, you're robbing pharmacies and you're 21 years old for opiates.
Can you tell me how that got started?
Yeah.
What led up to that?
I cheated. I read some of your book.
Yeah. Okay. You read the book. Okay. So the book is out. Yeah. It's called Chains to Change. Chains resembles me going to prison, of course. And then change it kind of rhymes, is the idea of, I changed my life because of my higher power and because of recognizing that I have Christ in my life. And for me, I didn't know that growing up. I knew that there was like a higher power. We'd go to Christian churches growing up. And what drove me in that direction was having an absentee father who was in prison when I was 6 years old. He really wasn't together with my mom at the time. They had a pretty abusive relationship, toxic, both emotional and physical. I grew up without a father. At the point you did too. Yeah. And it sucked, because it was like, dude, I went through some sexual trauma growing up as a kid. I was, I think, 6 years old, right around the time that my biological father went to prison. I remember at 7 years old, my mom married for the first time my stepfather. He was racist, homophobic. He just struggled like with toxic masculinity. He was very like American Eagle flag, blood all across his arm with the tattoos. He was a man's man. He was like a toxic masculine Harley Davidson riding guy.
Mofo.
Wow. Yeah. And he was tough, right? Like, he really wanted to make sure that he was top dog. And that for me just reiterated this idea of toxic masculinity. Like, I have to overcompensate. And I never really could connect truly as a boy to a man, seeing a leader in the home. And that pushed me to just really need this love from a father figure, but then not get it. Out of 14 years that my parents were married, my stepfather, I considered him a father, but I never called him dad in the house. And I was the oldest child out of 2 stepsisters, which were his, my biological brother, and my half sister, which they had together. And yeah, being the oldest child, there was a lot of pressure. And then my mom's own insecurities of being alone. She needed to be loved. She wanted this relationship. So she dove right into something that was providing for her and her family. Also, it just wasn't healthy in a lot of ways. So she was just walking out that trauma, not coping, not dealing with it, and just jumping into something that felt good. And for me, I began to be like really angry and really rebellious. And that's, I think at 16, I started smoking weed. By 17, I was smoking every day, doing alcohol every day at that point. Like not every day, but I think the weed was really an everyday thing just because I liked the lifestyle at the time, my friends, influences around me, and snowboarding, skateboarding, being into things like that. I
smoked a lot of weed too.
Yeah.
I can roll a blunt better than most bitches. Most
Noble,
bitches in this world. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Like to the point where I was smoking an ounce a day of marijuana. Yeah, it was insane.
Wow.
I had a medical marijuana card at 19 years old.
Wow.
And I'm not like, we're not boasting. I'm just saying like,
No.
it like took over my life. Like
there was no medical marijuana when I smoked. I'm so much older than you. You had to still hustle, okay? Like you had to go over to the hood to get it when I was in college.
Big difference. Because it was at the time, like I was going in the dispensary. Dispensaries are rampant through the town. There's 6 dispensaries, 7 dispensaries.
Either.
Downtown Oregon City, I grew up in, and all of a sudden, boom, there's dispensaries everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, I have hemophilia, a bleeding disorder that I was born with. It's congenital, and I was able to
for our listeners that don't know what that means, when you get cut, you don't stop bleeding. Correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So that was something that I had to intravenously have a needle go through my vein for like my whole life for medication. Luckily, I never used drugs with needles. It was only with my hemophilia medication. That could have been really bad.
It is.
Yeah.
Just trust me.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It turned my dad away from being out of my life absentee for, I think, 40 years? Totally. Yeah, I can relate. But yeah, I think the marijuana thing was just, it turned me into being an opiate addict. That's where I was.
You like downers.
Yeah, it was at that point smoking so much marijuana that winter of 2018. It was coming in like November, October. I was building a tiny house and it was really fun, but also I was an emotionally just immature kid at 20 years old. And I was just getting out of a relationship. My girlfriend broke up with me. I was living with her and her parents out of high school. I was trying to go to college, but I was one after another getting another ticket, driving without a license, then getting another ticket, then going to court. And they're like, hey, yeah, you're going to go to jail for 23 days. I didn't really wake up after that. It was really scary, but I didn't think, oh, Austin, you're an addict and you need to go to treatment. This is really bad. This is the route you're taking. And I didn't have people that I could really relate to that said, hey, Austin, you're in a really bad place. And I wasn't asking for help and I wasn't really surrendering. And so I continued to use marijuana.
It's hard to ask for help when you don't even know that you need it. I'm just saying. I know it probably would have made things better. And I think it's hard when you don't have good role models in your life.
Yeah, that Pride thing. I watched Pride in my home for that 10 years while my parent, I don't know, at that point it was like 13 years of my stepfather having so much pride. And that's what ultimately had them divorce while I was going to prison. And before I was going to prison, I was robbing pharmacies and doing hit and runs with selling marijuana and then getting robbed at gunpoint. What did you rob
the pharmacy for?
It was codeine cough syrup. So I was actually going to the emergency room, getting a prescription because I was smoking so much marijuana. I was getting sick and bronchitis so in depth. And then I knew how to talk to doctors really well because of my hemophilia growing up and being around doctors all my life. I was a manipulator. I was really good at it. And I was like,
that was your card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my Oregon medical marijuana card. Hey, I need some codeine cough syrup. They're like, yeah, sure. They'd give me a prescription. I'd go use it. And I was able to smoke more marijuana. I was living in hell every day when I woke up. I was back on my parents' property. They lived on 3 acres at a time on the Clackamas River down in Estacada, Oregon. So it was right on the Clackamas River. So it was beautiful. I was driving a 2018 Tacoma. At the time, I was just mobbing through the roads, drinking and driving. Can't tell you how many times I was doing that. I was smoking marijuana while I was driving, rolling up You talked about rolling up the best J. I was rolling up weed while I was driving. This was ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's talent.
no, the talent is, and
That's what the truth here.
it's perverse, but going up by the zoo,
Oh yeah.
my person
Yeah.
at the time. Yeah. Anyway, we won't go there. It's
Okay,
almost
stop there.
embarrassing, but anyway, yeah. But yeah, and weed was a factor as well.
Yeah.
So
I think just in general, like there was so many risks that I was taking. I could have killed somebody. I could have taken my own life. That would have impacted my family forever. And that would have impacted my community in a worse way. I think now today, what I get to do is go, and I got a DUI in 2000, I think it was 17. And I just put it off. And then obviously at some point I was in prison, and it was 2019, February 21st is when I got clean and sober. And that was also when I got arrested. So I've been clean and sober ever since. And at that point,
it's coming up here.
Yeah. 7 years. And I think for me, that was when everything, like I was truly blessed to go through that experience. Truly, truly blessed.
I understand. I was ashamed for a long time going to prison, especially being in the professional career. Never wanted it to come up, though I was honest because I didn't want you to come back at me. But in hindsight, when I went to IOP, they told me to take the worst things and flip them. And going to prison was the best thing that happened to me. It gave me the time out I needed. It really did. And I'm going to tell you, your experience you just went through, Peter just got over cancer.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, your experience, they're life-changing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If you can make it through the bad thing the right way and not go in and get a new career. I went to boot camp. I was very lucky, but I think it was the changing. I was scared. I didn't want to go back. Yeah. I don't want to lose my freedom at any point in time.
Yeah. There was a grieving process probably for you too through that first year. I was waking up and like having huge amounts of regret pour over me. I was having a hard time accepting the fact that I was there. I was trying to let go of my old life and the old people that were in my life, and just imagining, daydreaming about being free again. And so I was processing that for a whole year, and I would cry, wake up in the morning, wake up in the middle of the night crying because I was now going to be, I didn't know at the time how much time I was going to be doing. They were suggesting, hey, you're screwed, kid. The guys that were in the jail unit, you're screwed, and you're going to be in there for 10 to 20 years. And here I'm thinking like my life, I'm not going to get out until I'm like 30 or 40 years old, and I'm only 21. And that was really hard to accept. And I didn't really accept it until I was about a year in, 2 years maybe, when I could distract myself with really good things in the system that were there present. And I had to really work really hard to get the opportunity. Yeah.
I was a little more blessed. I went to boot camp and I got a time cut. And I was busy. Like after the first week, I was chopping fucking trees, running 6 miles a day. I could eat as much as food as I wanted and I wouldn't gain a pound because of all the activity.
All the activities.
Yeah. I ate French toast like a mofo. Yeah. I'm serious, like stacks of it. Yeah.
I think.
I'm curious because we've had Crimin on our show, and you talked about you hit a lot of places. Was that part of your addiction, that high you get from
criminality? I think it was adrenaline rush for sure. They talk about the epinephrine, which is the adrenaline neurotransmitter that's in our brain. And that was one thing that I was so attracted to. It's even now that I'm attracted to it through marathon running, doing triathlon training. And
a good way to get it, not
you get all of the things with the neurotransmitters through that. So I had to learn how to exchange it
and redirect it
because robbing a pharmacy, that is thrilling. Oh my gosh, going and jumping a counter.
I was so addicted to fast money.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me in drugs. I'll buy the drugs with my money. I want my fucking money.
Yeah.
And I'd stack it in the bank. Not a great idea. But yeah, you might
Right.
get charged with racketeering.
Yeah, the thrill of it, the thrill seeking. And I think, the criminal stuff is, when I got into the field and started getting clinical minded and getting trained and getting an education, I never thought I would be, for one, in the counseling field of substance use disorders and mental health. I never thought ever. Not even close. And I think,
Is that hard?
is it hard to work in the field?
So me personally, right? It's hard for me to be around active addiction. Once you're sober, I'm good. Even 30 days sober, even a week sober. But if you're tweaking and you're fucking actively participating, can't fuck with you.
Yeah. I think for me, that's a great question. It's a great question. For me, it's not as hard because I've created a life that I can see that continues to get better. And I'm obsessive in my addiction, very obsessive, right? Super obsessive. Hey, I need this now. I think about it all day. That's how I am in my recovery. And I just think about the next step. And with others that are struggling, I think of it as a direct reflection of me, where I'm thinking like, hey, how do I help this person? Because if it is triggering to me, then I think, okay, I am just like this person. I've been here. I'm not here anymore. They're showing me that. And of course, they say don't like count other people's downfalls and then be grateful for them. But then I am a little bit. It's hard for me not to be. For instance, I'm a recovery house manager for Nathan Lasco, and then I work at Fora. So I run a recovery house. Then I go and I'm at a recovery center.
That's a lot.
So they're like, are you going to burn out? And I'm like, no, I've been burnt out before. I was in prison running a whole IOP program as a recovery mentor who had no business, had no understanding of how to be a recovery mentor, and then was trained as a C80C1 and had no business doing that. Just had time clean and sober going to NAAA meetings in prison, trying to work the 12 steps. And then clients is what we called them at the time in the prison at Oregon State Penitentiary when we were running this diversion program, where they would, instead of going to the hole with getting a dirty UA, they'd be able to go into 150 hours of groups, like relapse prevention. But I was working with my clients and living with my clients. So I could never have time off. Like it was like, hey, you're going down to the chow hall. Hey, Austin, my life is ruined. I'm like, everything's wrong right now. I'm like, hey, yo, let me eat my food, yo. I need to eat my food, bro.
That would be hard.
I can't talk to you right now. I need to eat my food.
That would be hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
So I burnt out in prison and I stepped into a leadership role as a group coordinator. So I was like managing, I want to say we had 30 groups.
Wow.
Throughout the week. And I was like placing them, ordering them, structuring how many people would be in them in the prison that were in our program, introducing the program to them. So orientation. So I was getting a full-fledged like experience for what it was like to run a recovery treatment center in a way. And thank goodness to Nick Crapser, who brought me into the program. He saw that I was somebody.
Like Nick.
Yeah, Nick Crapser is like my best friend, and
he works for 4D.
Yeah, clinical director. Yeah, he's a great individual.
I met him at I met him at the For Freedom Awards.
Yeah.
He had just been hired by Tony. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's so much to the relationship that I have with Nick. Always been somebody that I could call when I was just like,
I love that.
Really struggling, especially getting out, struggling like relationships, family, my own personal stuff, job and career directions that I was going to take. And we just held a good friendship even after he left ODOC. And then he was at Serenity Lane, still talking to him. Then he was at 4D, and that was when I got out. It was June 17th, 2024. And at that point, there was just so many opportunities for me.
2024. So I got out of prison October 31st, 1994. 30 years difference for us. How crazy is that?
That is crazy.
Yeah. I got out on Halloween. I think it's cool.
That is cool.
And I graduated from prison because I graduated from boot camp. I always think it's better than being fucking released.
Yes.
Same effect though. You count down the days you get out and you're like, okay, I'm out.
I thought it would never come. Oh my gosh. I thought
did
it
a
would
lot of
never.
time.
Yeah.
5.5 years was like, and that was finally when they said Clackamas County was like, hey, we're going to give you this because of your bleeding disorder. We need to get you out of here. You're costing us a lot of money. And thank goodness,
Yay.
thank God for giving me hemophilia. Like that was a curse and a blessing
Thank
at the
God
same
for
time.
giving you an education in prison.
Yeah, that
I mean,
too.
you are a young man.
Yeah.
You have your whole fucking life ahead of you. If you would have gone to college, right?
Yeah.
A 4-year college.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
God works in mysterious ways.
So and I always say that too. I remind like the patients that I work with, even in all groups, is that I need to be here. I'm here with you guys. You guys, some of you are going to have to be here for the rest of your lives and recovery. And for me, I'm like, that's why I'm here. They're like, you're going to be here for the rest of your life. I'm like, yeah, because in high school, I was getting expelled for selling Adderall, selling weed, and then getting to come back, graduating as a super senior, 2017. I was a year late. And God bless my mom. She was saying, hey, you need to go back to school. And I'm like, nah, I just want to smoke weed all day and hang out with these college kids. I'm 19 or 18 at the time. And I graduated with a 1.36 GPA. I go to prison, get a second chance at life, and get enrolled with Chemeketa Community College and University of Oregon. I leave there. The first week out, I'm playing soccer at Portland Community College, men's soccer, community college soccer. But still, I never thought, dude, you're going to go play college soccer. Yeah. And then I continued my school the first week out of prison. I graduated from University of Oregon the next summer with a 3.35 GPA.
That's awesome.
3.35. It was crazy. That wasn't me, though. That was a lot of just recognizing I don't live for myself anymore. And that was a really...
I hope you change that. I do.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, it's great to be humble, and I can see that you are. But your life, you're young. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know what you mean, too. On that other side is like, that's part of the old me. The reframing when I got out and changed my core beliefs of like family is everything to me, because there
your
was
values
still,
changed.
my values and my core beliefs changed. And I was like, oh, I'm doing this for myself, and I'm doing this because I love myself, and I'm doing this because I can. And I was recognizing self-love at that point. And it took me 5.5 years to get to that point. It's amazing how your recovery evolves.
Oh, you're just getting started. Yeah. I think, because I think in prison, right?
Yeah.
Of course you can get dope in prison, but
yeah, sure.
But I think in prison, you don't have all the outside influences yet.
Outside noises.
And I think you have to make a choice of, am I going backwards or forwards? I personally have not hung out with one person from before prison.
Yeah.
I just don't do it. I actually don't hang out with a lot of people outside of the program. And when you say for the rest of your life, my last time in treatment, she said, you need to go to a meeting for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And my recovery is strong, but I can't imagine not going to meetings and being in a recovery atmosphere, period.
Yeah. With you living basically and then working in recovery, how is it for you with me? Do you go to meetings as in addition to that?
I think that's where it changed for me a little bit. My meetings are, and they say don't do your recovery with your patients, but it's really hard not to, because I'm literally thinking about all of the coping skills that I'm teaching. I'm thinking about when we're going through DBT, I live by DBT. I live by cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy. Because when I sat with a QMHP, a qualified mental health practitioner, before I was even a CRM in prison, and before I had at that point been in 12 steps for religiously, like 5 meetings a week, because that was all that I could get into. It was like AA meeting on Monday. Tuesday was a NA meeting in the afternoon at 1:00. Be upstairs. Let's drink that Folgers coffee until it's gone. let's read the big book.
Maybe get a cookie.
Yeah, maybe get a cinnamon roll. If you've had an OSP cinnamon roll, you haven't had a cinnamon roll. Or if you haven't had one, you haven't had one. And basically, yeah, I sat in and I chaired meetings, secretaried, and then what afforded me, like what I was able to get opportunity with was sitting in DBT with guys who should have been in the Oregon State Hospital. So they were the first guys I worked with in the prison before I got my certification as a recovery mentor. It was basically just a peer, and they had this entry job and you get points, you get paid like $1 a day. But I was literally working with guys who were so low functioning. They either had like alcohol fetal syndrome, they had schizophrenia, they didn't take showers for weeks. And I'd be like, hey bro, like we got to go get you in the shower. Like, we got to clean up your cell. We got to get you down to the chow hall. Let's get you up to group. So I went to groups with those guys. I wasn't afforded the opportunity because I was so higher functioning. For the dialectical behavioral therapy, they only had so many resources in the state penitentiary. And so a qualified mental health practitioner was paid, I don't know, $90,000 a year to work with these guys and have 2 days a week where they would have groups. I would get to go up there with them and I just listened to DBT and
learn by osmosis.
Just sit in it. And I always went. Why did I go for 2 years straight, twice a week? Yeah. I didn't have to. Like eventually she was like, hey, Austin, like you're a CRM now. You don't have, I'm like, I'm going to still be here because this is what I do now. And so when I'm sitting in groups, like that's why I work in the recovery environment. I don't go to AA and NA meetings anymore, which I miss it. And I've been even saying, hey, I need to stick to my word. I made a goal to go to an AA meeting and I still haven't.
You
and I think
come to mine.
Yeah, like I could, and I probably should.
We have online meetings too.
Right.
7 days a week and 7 nights a week.
Dang, that's
I have to tell you the worst year of my life. I went to meetings. I needed a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
Okay. But
yeah,
I went to meetings for 4 years, 3 months, and 22 days without missing one.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
Yeah, no, not really. It's just desperation.
Yeah, but that's amazing that you can like share that and say that's the definition of desperation.
And then
it's a beautiful thing.
Then the year that I couldn't go to meetings as much because of my job was the hardest year. I didn't go to enough meetings, calm my brain. I understand how to calm my brain now. I didn't at first. I didn't understand what rumination was. I went to IOP for DBT and mental health and all that. And I have a much more understanding. Just like I know I do too much, I get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And when I'm overwhelmed, it leads to an anxiety. And if I don't do it, I'm not anxious. I can be pretty calm. Yeah. But meetings to me are everything. And I know it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm really learning meditation now. I'm doing meditation all the time now. We have these tapes at work. And I would say meditation for dummies because Peter's good at it. But there's this guy, his name is Kiande. Okay. And he sounds like the lime in the coconut. And no, I love him, but think about somebody you love and I can do it. And then think about something yesterday that you're grateful for. So he
it's very intentional.
Walks me through it and I can do it and I can answer his questions with my brain. And I do them to get points at work because you get points for that program that I sent you. Like I got 50 points for inviting you to that program.
I can't join though.
But
we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah. But
I want to meditate with the coconut man.
Yeah. It is. And I'm going to tell you, I'm doing this financial one with this other guy, Gianni. But I listen to these tapes all the time in between calls. When we're really busy, I don't get to, but I love it. And I just keep learning more and more. Yeah. And my recovery just keeps growing.
That's what it is, right? Like growth. Like 2 words that described my last year was growth and then growth for this year. And I think I didn't necessarily graduate from AA or NA. And I think AA and NA offer that like long-term. Yeah, you don't. Those same principles work in all of these like very similar recovery self-help groups, right? The principles are always there. And I think
That's what I'm working on right now.
Right,
the traditions,
right,
principles of a personality.
yes,
Because some people
they
piss
don't
me
change.
the fuck off.
The principles don't change. They stay the same. I can't corrupt them.
No,
And that's the
they are
beautiful
the
thing about a principle.
foundation of everything.
Right. And I think going to answer your question is, I think just I go and I'm around recovery for a reason, because I choose that. I have to. And that's where I get to go run groups all throughout the week. I get to go sit with somebody who's just like me, who struggles with ADHD. And I'm like, hey, dude, you're not breathing. Just take a deep breath. Or I don't know, just so many things. And that's where I see myself like, hey, are you taking care of yourself, Austin? Are you?
That's what I'm thinking. And are you scared?
Am I scared?
I was scared. So I went to AA when I was still on parole, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I had 6 months left to do and had to go parole officer. And then at 6 months, I'm done. I'm off
I
parole.
see.
But
Yeah,
are you
I see.
like, I stayed.
I haven't had to take one UA on parole.
Yeah, well, I stayed
That's
because
crazy.
I was scared. I didn't want anything to happen.
No, I don't think even, I don't know. It's hard to explain. In my early recovery, I was scared at first, but like it was in such a controlled environment where I was like, I want nothing to do with using. And it was really easy to stay away from it. It was still, there'd be people blowing gas on the tier. They'd be smoking the weed. And I had no desire. Like I had no need for it anymore, because I saw my life, what it was like on it. And I got to see a vision of what it could be like without it.
Play that tape.
So it just was way more weighted for that, playing that tape through, like you say. It was just way more influential, way more. There was going to be such a better outcome that I knew. And that was from my brain development. I only had 3 or 4 years in severe addiction. So now I was like almost 3 to 4 years in recovery. So I was a little bit more reluctant, my brain, to bounce right back into that neuroplasticity, these new neural pathways that were being built, even with severe brain damage, with having not only the substances, the emotional, the trauma, the physical damage that I had done backflips when I was a kid and landed on my head, and so many things I was able to bounce back from. And then starting to see, like, I wasn't scared, and I'm not scared now. I don't think, to answer your question, I think I am knowing that who I am. And I think that's that self-actualization that Erik Erikson talks about, where you've met your housing needs, you've met your basic needs. Yeah. And so you're the best version of a human being is saying, okay, I can see who I am now. And that was where I started getting to see, okay, if I just take this day by day, show up to a meeting or show up for my recovery, then I can get where I'm going. And it's not going to happen all at once. That instant gratification, I would say, hey, this is going to happen right now. But then I was like, dude, someone is showing me that it's going to take all that 5.5 years of just hitting your head, like trying to get out of prison. So trying to file clemencies, waiting day by day. Maybe they're not getting me my medication. So there was all these like things that I was struggling with in prison. So it was just showing me how to accept the things that are beyond my control, accept the things that I cannot control.
Amen.
Accept the things that I could control, and see like the difference, see like exactly what NA talks about and DBT talks about it. Then Buddhism's talking about it. Then the Bible's talking about it. So we're like,
so many.
Okay, so
I agree.
Do I have to go to a meeting? I was like, and that's where I was thinking, the growth to growth, like and you're experiencing that in your recovery is where you see that you're getting to experience this meditation, and it's almost like a breath of fresh air.
Recovery is a journey.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a race. And I think, honestly, I'm a little slow. Peter is okay at 8 years. And I'm going to tell you, at first, it was just enough for me not to use drugs. Then it was, I'm a mom, and it was just enough to be a mom and go to meetings. Then it was just enough for my career. And then this last 3 years, I think, has been time for me. And then being off work for a while, time, I don't know, to help my brain. I don't know how to explain it. My brain was always very busy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can relate to that in trying to slow down. My mom's telling me, she's like, Austin, you're too much for me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't understand that. What does that mean?
That's too much for me too. I understand.
But then I'm standing right like we are today. You're sitting across from each other, and I'm sitting with a patient at Fora Health, and he's just exhausting me in a matter of 2 minutes. And I'm like, this is what my mom was talking about.
Yeah.
The brain is just going so many different directions, and what they don't know. See, I didn't know I was exhausting my mom, but then also I was inherently exhausting myself. Eventually it would have a crash, and then I would have a hard time. Like my immune system was down. I'd have to figure out that. And I was like, why is this happening? Because I was literally putting forth so much energy and not having focus.
Yeah.
If you can relate to that. It was just like,
I can. Like I said, as I've gotten older, and I'm triple your age, but it's taken time, I think, to get in a really good groove.
Yeah.
I don't use no matter what. It doesn't matter what's going on. And if I'm really struggling, I go to more meetings.
I think for me also, it was realizing it's okay to do it your way.
Yeah.
I was, especially in my early days of attending meetings, they were very
rigid.
Yeah. And you have to do this, you have to do that. And that's just not me.
Yeah.
And
me either.
Like you were saying, you get recovery from what you're doing at work and participating in those meetings. And I get recovery from this podcast.
Yeah.
A lot.
And also for me, I had to make my life recovery and all recovery. I siloed things for so many years, and that just wasn't going to work. But to have
until we stripped on that pole.
Yeah. Until I said, okay, I'm just going to let it go. Here's who I am. And
same.
And then I don't have silos anymore. I have friends. They're not my AA friends over here and my NA or my normies over here. There's no silos anymore. This is my life. This is how I live. And I think that's made a big difference for me in my recovery. And I think others out there too should realize, just like we say, if you don't like a meeting, find another one. You're going to find one you like.
And if you don't like AA, then there's variety.
Yeah, there's
so many.
Well, and
different...
it's like Izzy's running is basically what it's like. It's recovery.
Yeah,
but it's literally a run club.
That's my boy.
Yeah, and that's how we got together. Is him. Izzy's so good at just introducing people and like having relationships. But
let me tell you.
Side note about Izzy.
He has grown.
Yeah.
I was his first sponsor, his first on this last run around, and did the steps with him. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, we were talking about this the other day, him and I really value the first years when it was simpler for him. And we'd go to my sponsor's house and we'd bring a meeting every Saturday. We'd go to breakfast and we'd go to this outdoor farmer market. And then when they closed in October, we tracked down the bread lady. Like we went and found the store where they made this bread. And it was really good. And I'm so grateful for that time.
Yeah.
GTD is an amazing thing. And I believe in recovery and movement a lot. I bake cookies, raise money for them. I've done it all. But I will tell you that I think running a nonprofit takes a lot.
Mm-hmm. It does.
And I don't know if it adds to your recovery, if it takes away or whatnot.
You have to find a balance.
You do. Yeah. And I think you have to find a balance with everything.
Yeah. Because I think just in general, like you're so right. So there's so many different versions of recovery. And then I think how much do we put ourselves in? Because we only have 100% of ourselves. So if we're putting in 80% into, say, a nonprofit or say a podcast, or say I'm putting 80% in giving that back to Fora Health, then I'm only left with 20% to, okay, how do I balance this out? Like I can give them 8 hours of my day. That's it. No more thoughts after that. But then how do I do that with the rest of my life? And so what's allowing me to do that is movement. So dopamine and serotonin are hugely found in my exercise routine. So going in, running a marathon on Thanksgiving, by myself. They were like, hey, how'd you do that? And it was like, I have a lot of built up need for decompression. A joint would be great. An alcoholic beverage would be great, but that doesn't actually do anything for me. It just allows me to like black out, and then I have to deal with all again.
Yeah.
What like running or exercising, being in the gym, heavy weightlifting, it's not only like giving me longevity of my health, my bone health, and
but an outlet.
Life, but then it's being a huge outlet, and I would not be in recovery if it wasn't for that.
I love that.
Yeah, just because I need that. I have to have that, or else I'm freaking going crazy. And that's why I connected with Izzy so well. And I think just to what we were talking about earlier is this recovery.
He told me he was texting you every 10 minutes
about the book
when he was reading the book. He's like, just keep texting him. This is the part I'm at. And he was telling me, I was like, don't tell me anymore.
Yeah,
I don't want to know anymore. You're ruining it.
It was really fun, actually. I was like, dude, this is so cool, bro. Like, he was reading it. My coworker was reading it. She came back with so many questions, and I was just like, this is really cool.
Perfect segue. Tell us about the book.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about one huge thing.
So after I met you guys, I kicked it into gear and was like, hey, I'm finally going to finish this book. And I had spoke at a Northwest Behavioral Health conference, and I looked for a publisher. I've only been out now a little bit over a year and a half, and it was like, oh, I'm going to get out and it's going to be really easy to publish. No, it's not easy to publish. And I opened up my own company, which is my recovery company, Cleanse Wellness Company, and it was allowing me to figure out how to divert that book, have a company for the book that was publishing it, then get it formatted, which I had to do. That was about $150. Then I paid for the ISBN. You can get an ISBN from Amazon, or you can pay for your own. If you don't pay for one, then Amazon basically only can sell your book. So I got my own ISBN, which is another $150. Then I got a photographer, a friend of mine who I had met. It was a miraculous meeting. Like, I met you guys, and he took the front cover picture of the book. It came out beautiful, and I made sure it was edited, made sure I went through it, because this was documents that I had typed in prison after writing it out and having my spare time as a recovery mentor to have access to the computer at Oregon State Penitentiary. I had a flash drive. I could get things printed off. So I knew I was leaving because I was going to make a new path for treatment in there. And I knew I was leaving. So I printed out everything and I had it. So I scanned it as soon as I got home and put it on my laptop.
So that's crazy. So the 30 years difference, right?
Yeah.
We called it lab, but I have my pages printed out from when I was in prison.
Oh, wow.
I wrote, it's crazy, but I got them printed out before I left, and I still have them. And my hair, they cut off.
Oh.
Yeah.
You should do something with them, because I feel like I was reading it.
Can I tell you? A lot of people say that. And when COVID came and I worked through most of COVID. I didn't lose the Sprint job until the T-Mobile merger. It wasn't COVID. And I had been there almost 20 years. And I was going to write a book. I'm getting paid. It's COVID. Why not?
Yeah.
And I couldn't write the first 15 years. Every time I went to the computer, I cried. And then my sponsor said, let's do a 4-step around it. And that was the first time I told anyone I had been molested. First time. And then he died 3 months later. So I was like, shit, my shit is sacred. It's safe. And I'll never have to talk about it again. And put it back away. And then went to work at the company. We won't mention their name because I signed an NDA. But we always call them the company. But when I went to work there and I worked too much and I got sick, really sick. I was working 65, 70 hours a week and my eardrum exploded. I got an ear infection and exploded, and it led to time off. And the doctor said I had to go to IOP for stress management, but she sent me to the psychiatrist. And I'm like thinking what the fuck? And the psychiatrist, second question she asked me is, have you ever been touched? And I was like, why the fuck are you asking me that? I'm here about work. And she's, you answered my question. It's okay. And I was like, and I just started bawling again, just like at the computer. And it's crazy. I think for me, it came at the right time.
Yeah.
When I had time to process it and deal with it.
Yeah.
And not be ashamed, or all the people were dead. My secret didn't affect anyone. I don't have to feel sorry about anything. Yeah. And I don't cry about it now. When there's some podcasts that I've cried the whole way through, especially when we get to certain parts. But yeah.
I can relate to that. And even like from a mental health standpoint, it affects one thing that a friend of mine, and I mentioned earlier, he had mentioned, and he was like, yeah, Austin, that's going to affect you for the rest of your life. It's never going to leave you. It's a part of who you are. And I was like, damn, that sucks. But it also is like a beautiful thing. And then I remember like jokingly, I was in AA and NA, and I would be telling people like these stories, like really vulnerable stories of what happened to me when I was a kid. They're like, whoa, dude, we're talking about getting like fixed from substances like narcotics, dude. We're not talking about like childhood sexual things.
I never bring it up.
Oh, hey, but I was new to the scene, so I was just like, hey, like I'm getting it all out.
No,
like, get with the sponsor, bro.
Yeah, I have to tell you, my sponsor now was molested. Yeah. No, and it's an easy conversation. What do you want at McDonald's?
Right.
Where other people, it wasn't like that for me.
Right.
But he's Julie. It wasn't fair to us, but it's crazy how it can come. So that's the answer on the book. I just now have gotten to a place where I'm okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Different levels at different thing. And Peter, I think what you said is probably the most truest for me. When we were in my kitchen that night and you did your story, right? And I did my story. I'm running a division of a company, okay? Like my professionalism was everything to me because I wanted my child to be proud. And I think I wanted you to know I'm not what I was. Does that make sense? Yeah. And the farthest from it, I don't look like I went to prison. I don't have any tattoos. Right. I don't look like that. The cover does not match the inside of the book at all. And when we did our podcast, knowing that this is going around the world, okay, and is going to be there for everybody and their fucking mama. Forever. Yeah. It broke down those things. And I had to leave that place because I was uncomfortable with the things like where I work now. I'm okay. I can wear my recovery podcast shirt to work. And I'm like, yeah, this is my jam. And be proud of it where I don't have to put up all those masks. And also when I came into AA, you didn't talk about drugs. CMA wasn't even around then. And if you notice in my story, if we're sharing at whatever, I don't talk about the actual drug usage very much. Yeah, I think it's disgusting. Yeah, I just don't like it.
Yeah, because past the drug use, it's like all these things that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I think that where I started to feel free, and it's still a process, and I don't think we're ever going to be like healed, but I think where I started to feel free was like where I accepted, oh, I'm okay with being alone from all this traumatic stuff of passed down. And there was a lot of work to be done, I think, even still, but there was a lot when I was in prison talking about like relationships. I got in a relationship with this woman from University of Oregon, and you weren't supposed to be in a relationship. So you weren't supposed to go past that. And I was holding on to my integrity. I was like, but then you put a model in front of me and she's like, Austin, I really want to talk to you after this. And I'm like, oh God, this is not good.
You're human.
This is, And they're like expecting like us to be like saints in there, like true saints. I pretty much was a saint, like in a way. Hey, like slap on the wrist with the ruler and do bad things. And like, I was really like straight and narrow.
Me too. Because you got in trouble in boot camp if you talk to dudes, because you're supposed to focus on the program.
Yes.
And somebody tried to talk to me and I'd be like, listen, motherfucker, I'm trying to get out with my time cut. Do not talk to me. Right. I didn't come to prison to get a man. Fuck you.
Right. There was that barrier.
There's that barrier. But You're human as well.
Yeah.
She's a model today in New York. So she had moved after she graduated, but it showed me that
You're human.
when I was like, I need to see a QMHP. And my boss was the BHS manager at the time. So I worked directly with management because of my position as a mentor. And I was like, hey, can you get me in this week to see one of the QMHPs? He's like, yeah, you can see. I'm like, yeah, I know this person very well. So I sit down with them and we're going over all these things for some reason. And I was like, yeah, I feel like really vulnerable. And she's like, why do you do this? You know, the whole why question. And how does that make you feel? And we just started going down this rabbit hole. And at that point I was like, dude, I am deathly afraid of being alone. And I am so scared of that.
Really?
Yeah. Just like this abandonment. There was a lot of abandonment that I felt like, but that it wasn't even my abandonment. It was my mother's abandonment. So when I
have
shared
abandonment issues too, but I love being alone.
No, I do too.
Yeah.
And I realized that later on. I was like, in my addiction, I like would isolate. And so I was like, isolation is really bad. But then I learned the word solitude. And in my recovery, that allowed me to decompress from connectivity and connect back with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how
Because
I
I
feel.
need that. In solitude.
I love doing laundry.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I'm being
Because you're
honest.
doing it alone. There's no.
Yes. And I want my towels folded the way I want to fold them.
Yes.
Like,
Clean the house.
yeah, I love that stuff, believe it or not. And because I never got high
Yeah.
where I lived, I was in hotels, as Jack would say. I was a homeless hoe, but
Yeah.
I was in really expensive hotels. And
Ritz-Carlton.
no joke, bro. For real. I can't even tell you how much money. If I had 10% of that, Peter, we'd be set.
Yeah.
But so my home is a very safe place for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
can relax there. And I think when we get too busy, I have to go do some laundry.
Yeah, I call it grounding. I need to be grounded.
There you go.
And this home is the ground for me. My backyard is my sanctuary. I created or modified these
Well,
spaces
you're
Yes.
so talented.
so that I could be grounded.
Yeah.
You're
And I'm-
talented too, Peter. You're creative. You're a gardener. You cook like you are Betty Crocker plus Martha Stewart. I'm
And-
just saying.
And to put it in retrospect, like a lot of these people that are in their early recovery, they're trying to create that. They're trying to create what you have, what I have, what we have, like in purpose, having something to like, because you see so many people in early recovery, they're like, they have no idea what they want to do next. And then they finally get through survival of getting into treatment, getting out of treatment, getting housing. And then they're like, I don't know what's next. Let's go use. So I think it's like all about that self-actualization, finding out who you are. And through that solitude, finding out really who you are, what type of person you want to be, and like really diving into that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think also that recovery is a full-time job. Where I work pays my bills.
Exactly.
And I think when you get to that mentality and you just accept it, it's not like you can graduate from treatment. I believe treatment gets you clean. You got to have another foundation to keep you clean.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the CRMs come in handy to help you find what's good for you. It might be different from everybody. Peter and I are entirely different in a good way, but we go together like peanut butter and jelly and have the same values. And I think also to be successful, it's good to hang out with like-minded people that want to go the places you want to go. And I'm not saying the same way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I forget now who said that. It's a famous quote about if you want to be something, surround yourself with something that you want to be.
Yeah.
So if you want to be an athlete and you surround yourself with sports athletes.
I missed that one. Why am I not a superb athlete?
As the other saying goes, show me who you hang around, and that will show me who you are. The 5 people that you hang around.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you,
Yeah.
my Fab Five
Yeah.
is so fucking flawless. You're part of that, Peter.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. And my
Right.
sponsor, really, like, we're talking about abandonment issues and father issues. My dad died when I was young, and I only remember seeing him 3 times, and I didn't replace him. But my sponsor and Father's Day here, I tell you this all the time, we celebrated Father's Day at Peter's house. And it's the day we talked about the podcast and we came up with the podcast. And it was the best holiday I had ever had almost. And every holiday since then has been amazing. But AA gave me the father I never had. And I don't feel like I never felt alone because of my child, but I felt alone as an adult. Does that make sense without the child?
Yeah.
And now I never feel alone. And it took some work, but I never feel alone.
And it's like you were making me think there's all these areas of recovery, and are one of them better than the other? I don't think so, because they're all needed. So like the NAs, the AAs,
everybody's program is different.
Yeah.
What works for you
IOPs.
might not. Yeah.
At the core of most of these programs, they're just rules for life or guides for life, for living
the
life.
Principles are like everything. Like, and I'm honest, I used to be like this bitch, you know, Peter. And now I'm like, this bitch just wants to belong. Yeah. There are people that, and now I don't focus on them and their overtness or whatever. I just accept that they're here for their recovery and they're super different than me. And maybe they're thinking in their brain, this bitch, you know, about me. But it's taken a while to get there too, because I go to a gay men's meeting. Yeah. It was always a really simple dynamic for me. I've never had to confuse anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too that when we work so much on ourselves, we're getting to have so much wisdom that when you look at, I'm probably never going to have kids, and I'm probably never going to have a wife, just because there's so many people that need me and I need myself.
I hope we have you back on the show. And I'm going to be like, let's listen to this again. Because
true, because
I didn't have a child until
I probably might change. I might change, but I don't know.
I didn't expect to get pregnant.
Life's always changing, but I think what I was getting to is that there's so many people in recovery that didn't have the support. And I get these you never get those like transcendent moments. My ethics teacher at University of Oregon, Steven, his last name escapes me, but he was teaching us about philosophy and Stalingrad, the war. So we were meshing like Levinas philosophy, and he would always talk about transcendence. And I get these like moments of transcendence in recovery and just profound like wisdom. And there's so many guys where you can look at them, or gals, and look at them and be like, they're just trying to get to themselves, where you had said, hey, I'm doing it for myself, because they're looking for it in other people, like that support, that father figure, that support, like that encouragement. We all need it. That's why I got into recovery. I was like, I'm not this terrible person. I'm actually, thank you for complimenting me and saying good job today. Yeah. I need that to reinforce that. I need to give that to myself every day. And the brightness, the sun, the light that's shining off of these adults' faces when they're supposed to be adults, but they're like that child. You can see the child in them, and you say good job, or they're like, hey, dude, it's okay. Like, you don't need to be mad at this other person that you're in recovery with, or at the house, or at the treatment center, or at your work. They're just trying to get their needs met. Yeah. Everyone has needs, just basic needs and like real needs.
Emotional needs,
are these needs appropriate? Are they acceptable? Maybe not all of them. Maybe that's not a need. Maybe that's just a want, but maybe this is a need. And that's why there's conflict. And conflict is good. That we both recognize that we have needs, and we can resolve this, and we can de-escalate this and communicate more effectively. And so I think that's.
I'm going to tell you, with all your knowledge, okay, I didn't want to be a parent. Okay. I didn't want to.
I'm selfish.
Being an only child, I never wanted my child to go through what I went through. But being able to break every fucking cycle there was. Never put my hands on her. Never did drugs around her. Nobody ever touched her. I would have gone to jail free. Okay, no problem. Yeah. But breaking these cycles, and she went to another chance, and they went oh, how's your childhood? How's your childhood? And she said that they were the worst stories she ever heard. And she's, I'm sorry, but my childhood was amazing. And just that alone, but I just don't sell yourself short yet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Love you.
We're going to replay this again when I'm older. And I'm retired. Yes. And I'm going to be like, remember when you were fresh out of prison and you were running the world? And now, yeah.
It just, and that goes to more work needs to be done because I got into this other relationship right after like prison.
I
And-
would have too after being fucking.
But she was just like so, but that's where you guys were making me realize is like both of you is when you have these places of your recovery and you're creating that for yourself and you're like, I deserve this, give this to myself, because when you bring yourself up, that's where you're getting to find out who you really are. And I still haven't really found out who I truly am past the scarcity, past the
It's
still
a
the
journey,
trauma
babe.
that's still, hey, get over it. We can get past that. The brain patterns, this thinking distortions,
And everybody wants to be loved.
yeah.
And how you go
True
about
connection.
it, your
True
picker
connection.
might be broken at first. Wasn't yours broken at first?
Yeah.
Peter has a perfect husband. But my picker was broken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
just telling you, sometimes it's trial and error.
Yes.
And as you grow, you never know. You might find the right glove that fits.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope not.
We'll see. I didn't have a lot of gift.
Thank you, though. Thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
want to go over the book's name again.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even touch on half the story.
Yeah. Chains to Change. It's really just about the fact that you can take something that's really kind of scary and how God was really incorporated in my life and how each door just opened up because I would always give up. And I really liked instant gratification. And there was a lot of challenges in that and really beautiful gifts, really, really, truly beautiful gifts, like things that were miracles, watching guys get their GED, being a part of that, or just seeing how a program in a prison that had never been done before, that was a part of it for the recovery and interactions with officers, just continuously asking God to break down barriers and then things that I never thought would happen did happen that were better than what I wanted. So just miracles. And when I finally surrendered, and I think the surrender story is really cool because there was a lot of really just things that you almost can't believe. You have to believe, but you wouldn't be able to see dreams and visions for my life and getting to see those come true, getting to meet my biological father in jail for the first time after 20 years.
Awkward.
Or no, 15 years. Was it 15 years or 20 years? It escapes me. But yeah, he was in jail like all my life, in and out, like 40 times in Clackamas, in Portland.
He was doing
40
life
times.
on
Yeah,
the
just
payment plan.
Yeah,
Installment plan. Yeah. And now he's out. He has, his wife actually works at Another Chance. They've been in
And I
recovery.
know his wife.
Yeah, you probably do.
What's her name?
Mavi.
Yes.
Yes. So full circle. She's connected me. Even they've connected me to the job that I have now with Nathan Lasco. They connected me to John. John
Is our man.
Yeah, is the dude, and he
has
just,
the record of most felonies out of a podcast.
that makes sense.
Look,
that makes sense.
for
Yeah,
real.
he's pretty crazy. He's pretty crazy to divert though, but that just shows like the severity, like to divert that craziness and then this craziness. It's
and then to
Yeah.
still believe
yeah,
what the judge told him. I believe everybody deserves another chance.
yeah,
And then to give it.
yeah, to give that.
Yeah.
100%.
John is an extraordinary man.
And that was such a cool thing is like I get to work with Nathan Lasco, and Nathan runs probably the best recovery house in. I'm not going to say one of the best. I'm only going to say the best because I've had guys multiple relapses. We haven't kicked those guys out based off the Oregon rule. We do the right procedures, but I've had so many guys turn it around. And if there's no place for them, there's no place for them. And so we were talking about earlier. Hey,
I know the other rules. You got to leave.
Yeah.
You got to, yeah.
And we have this ability to really work with them. And I always think to myself, like, if there's no place for them, there's no place for them. Where do they go? They go right back into it.
Out.
It's, you got to be straight and narrow now. That's not how this is going to work. Most of these, the success rate coming out of a lot of these treatment centers is not super high because it's very hard to track this data and create a good success rate and a good definition of that everybody agrees on.
The best rate though.
I hope so. I haven't heard the percentage.
They do. I've been around for a second, and I think because they go at it from a complete circle, right?
Yeah. Yes.
There's detox,
Yes. Full
housing, 100% housing, mental health counseling, family counseling. Work it's not placement. Just one aspect. And I'm not saying everybody is successful. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think Serenity Lane does the same thing. Okay, but they're bougie and cost a phenomenal amount of money. I'd like to go there for a couple weeks vacation. I'm just saying.
I know, it's so nice.
Go to cooking classes and get a personal trainer and stuff like that. But I do think Fora does a good job. And you know why I think that? I've seen it in a lot of people coming from Fora. We've had a lot of people on the show from Fora, had a lot of people from 4D. So I do believe it's possible, but I also believe you and I are the exception. And I will explain.
I see what you're saying.
When you go to prison, right?
Yeah.
You have 20 people. Let's just make the math simple.
Yeah,
okay?
Sure.
Okay. 2 of them are going to go once and never go back again. 3 of them, it might be 2 or 3 times. The rest are going to do life on the installment plan.
Yes.
You only hopefully have to go once.
I
only have to go once.
It will only be once.
Okay, so we are the exception. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it is. You have to change everything. And if you're listening, don't take the easy way out. You really have to change your foundation, you know, of what you used to know and what you know now.
Completely a 180 difference degree turn. And I think that when I learned the statistics on the degrees, every time you get a degree, you're like, it cuts it in half, the recidivism rate. And I was like, oh, I'm still like wanting to recidivize because I still have that little bit of waiting for me right there. It's one decision away. So get a bachelor's degree. Okay, that cuts your recidivism rate in half.
Your recovery capital is getting bigger and bigger.
And that's the capital. I love that. Thank you for bringing that in. Yeah, the recovery capital.
I'm a fucking billionaire in recovery capital. I know, and I have like $93 in my bank account. But let me tell you, when it comes to recovery capital, I am I was telling Peter the day I came out of that class with Adrian
Burse.
Yes. Go, Peter.
It came to me.
Adrian Burse, 4D CRM class, Tony's CRM class. Yeah. And I came out and I come over to Peter. Peter, I fucking in recovery capital, dude. I am a billionaire. And it's true. If you have a job, it's better. Yeah. If you sober, it's better. If you hang out.
If you like your job. Yeah.
There's all this. And I am, like I said, a billionaire, and I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change my surroundings.
Yeah, because I think we have that in common where it's up and down, like very manic, really highs, really lows, huge lows when you're in your addiction. And then when you start to actually regulate, emotionally regulate, have a lot of effectiveness, like life starts actually like working. It's like, you don't have to be driving a Range Rover and have $1 million in the bank account. It's, hey, this feels really good. Just the stability and knowing that I have
That's
life.
Crazy because in my criminality, when I was arrested, I had a BMW and over $250,000 in my bank account. Okay. And I've never had a car that nice since then. Yeah. And I've never had that much money then. Right. And I have so much more peace.
So much more.
It is. And I will tell you, you'll get to the point. You're still new.
Yes.
But you're going to get to the point like using is just not even an option. Right. Yeah.
Especially that. Yeah.
Anything you want to say to our listeners?
I think the only thing
any advice
besides buy my book.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, where can they buy it?
Oh yeah. The book is on, let's see.
And
Amazon.
If you want to talk about the book,
Amazon?
We can give you Izzy's number.
Yeah. Izzy will tell you all about how the book is. How
he tried to in the car on the way here.
Yeah, I think just he was definitely a person that was supporting all the way when he heard. He's like, "You're writing a book," And yeah, just super supportive. I think, Amazon, it's on Amazon. You go to the Amazon books, you search Chains to Change by Austin Keever. Since everyone's been buying it, it comes up as the first for that title search.
I love that happens to us.
Yeah.
No, when you used to Google Real Recovery Podcast, what's that bitch ass name? The one we
Faith Radio, and then there's that other.
Oh my
right.
gosh.
They used to come up first.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Now-
now you guys come up first as soon as you
Yeah,
look
and
it
then
up.
we have all these people that tell us they can make us number one in Google, and I'm like,
we already
bitch,
are.
we already are.
We already are. Yeah, you get all those
We're in
annoying calls.
Australia. We're in Portugal, lady. You cannot tell us. Yeah.
I guess also I would like to break the news to you guys too is I'm opening up a 3.1 treatment center, residential. We got a preliminary approval. So
Nice.
Awesome.
yes. So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
I think that's great.
yeah.
Don't overdo it.
No, it's
Just know you are the most important.
it's going to be the fact that I get to finally give my recovery away, how I've received my recovery,
You're already giving it away.
but just in a way that is so, is it weird to say manly, but like masculinity, like
It is weird. No.
It's just so, I want to help men recover and I want to help.
What about bitches?
Yeah, I don't know about the ladies.
Okay.
Well, maybe, I don't know well, if that's in
I'm
my
just
future.
teasing.
I know you are. I think the guys, we have 14 men's prisons. We have 1 women's prison. So I think the guys, women are needed. We need women all the way through. I think that I have something to offer the men that we really need. And it's going to be 12 beds. We're going to have it I don't want to say militant, but it's going to be very
Structured.
like
How's that?
structured.
Structured.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good.
I think
Structured and
structure and
just-
routine are everything.
Yes.
Boot camp, unlike prison, right?
Yeah.
We're learning. We're on work codes. We went through a religion class where we learned 6 different religions.
Yeah.
And,
That's so,
you know,
that's so cool. I would
I
love to add that
loved
to the
it.
curriculum.
I went to Indian religion. I went to Christian religion. I went to Catholic religion. I went to atheist religion. I went to nature religion.
Yes.
And learning it
Yes.
about all of them, just whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
really open-minded. It's just if CMA works for you, okay, that's your thing. Not my thing. It's hard for me. If NA works for you, okay, I think that's great. If it's Wellbrighty, we're all different. What's going to motivate you might
That's
not
it.
be what
That's
motivates me.
So and I think of just like the treatment. I've gotten to sit in a lot of different treatment settings. Telehealth treatment with Sober Living Oregon before they became Spark Wellness. I got to sit with Fora now, one of the best, I think, treatment centers when I stood in front of the board.
The Hilton.
Yeah, they're definitely the Hilton. I'm moving away from the institutional setting and I want it to be very homegrown, very like warm and welcoming. And then we will have a recovery house for them to transition into. But it's a niche that hasn't really been met with the 3.1 because a lot of like Fora is 3.5, 3.7. They don't have a drop down. You just automatically go right into 2.1 IOP. And John Morgan at Another Chance, he has 2.6, which is PHP. So we don't have a lot of 3.1s.
Explain that to me. I'm not familiar with
Residential
the 2
is
point or
3.1. Okay, so these are levels of care that ASAM provides us. The ASAM is the intake form that anybody would come in to treatment and a counselor would assess where they're at.
Okay.
Like, are they higher functioning? Are they lower functioning? So they would be at a higher level of care, like a hospitalization would be a 4.0.
Okay.
State hospital. 3.7 is what Fora offers them, where it's like 100% 24/7 medical staff. 3.5 is a little bit lower. It's like more stabilized with mental health. So they're not manic. They're not struggling emotionally on a severe level. With 3.1, it's more like, okay, they're getting to that point where they're higher functioning. They just need a little bit more clean and sober time in a controlled environment.
I love that because you know what? The 30-day shit is for the birds.
Yeah.
I believe
They got 90 days with us.
that. And then you said go to housing after that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I think that is the key. And here's the thing. This is just an opinion. I don't want to give you anything. I want you to earn it.
Yes.
I want you to
Yes.
earn I think then you have pride in what you've built. I know that the car that I bought
Yeah.
with my $18 fucking an hour,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
compared to my car
Yeah.
that I bought from a week in the escort service meant so much more to me. My license that I earned back from the judge,
Yep.
okay, on my $50 payments a month meant everything to me. And I just think what you earn and do it the right way,
Yeah.
you have so
Yeah.
much pride in it. We talk about false pride. That's real pride.
Yeah.
So I love
You're
that.
Right. You're right. And I think one of the things that's a little bit unique is OHA, Oregon Health Authority, said I could live on the grounds for I could live there for however long, but I think I need to be there for the first 2 months, 3 months. And nobody really could do that unless you lived in a prison and you were a recovery mentor and be still sane and still give back. So I think that's a special path that I need to walk on. And we bought the house. We're there. It's being appraised on Wednesday. So we are like the Nathan Lasco and then even Nick Crapser. He's going to be the clinical director for us. And then we have a medical director already picked out. Then we have,
I love it.
Yeah, just supervision, getting all the right procedures and policies in place. And John was a big stoking of the fire. Nathan was like, hey, you're going to do recovery housing. And I was like, maybe I should just do treatment, and training me as a recovery house manager, because I'd never done that. Being on the outside, it's a totally different thing than being on the inside.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, there's so much beautiful experiences in all this. And there'll be one day where I finally have something of my own that I've never had, like buying a house and getting out of poverty. And from coming where my childhood, we were never really middle class. So getting out of poverty, getting out of that mindset.
Which again, I think comes back to earning it.
Yeah. And then earning it. And that's where I was sharing with you guys, is like being on the property with the people that are recovering for the beginning. The next 6 months, I think we are trying to start here. We're aiming for like April or May to start up, because then we have to get our Medicaid in place and get a couple in networks with like maybe Kaiser. And we want to have all of them, but that's a process.
It is.
That is an intense process.
That is the part I think that's going to be the most challenging.
Yeah.
The paperwork.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's like my addiction, right? My addiction was so severe. Like, you're robbing damn pharmacies. And it's like, yeah, that's insane. That's insanity. I never thought I would open up a treatment center, and this is going to be like what I do in my life.
Well, you know what? If you just change one person's life, right?
Yeah.
I told Peter the other day, work is a lot when you start a new job. I don't care what job. It's a lot. It's a new pattern, a new whatever. And again, if I get overwhelmed, I get a little anxious. And I trying to balance the podcast and whatnot. But I had somebody who listened to the podcast who said it changed their life and they were suicidal. And I just started bawling, and I was so grateful and knew that the balance was really important to find. But if you can change one person's life, then you've already helped society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That indirect amends, when I went to plead with them, it's such a beautiful thing, and it almost made me tear up. But that you get those little transcendent moments, and
we're getting them a lot now. I had on Sunday, I'm sitting next to this old lady I never met before at the meeting. And she's, I really enjoy your podcast. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, and it just keeps happening a lot lately.
Yeah.
And these are signs that third year's our year, Peter.
Yeah.
Because you're going with an empty cup, and then people are filling it up a little bit, and it reminds you of why you're doing it. And that's, now you're not doing it because of that. You're doing it because you are devoted to it.
Well, it's been a hard journey. I started a new job the same time Peter was going through cancer treatment, and we pre-recorded a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
And despite all that, we were able to keep going.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's a miracle, actually.
It is.
It really is.
That's why this year is the year.
This is the year. If you know the amount of money we survived on last year.
Yeah.
bro, you might spend that much at McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So our biggest
That's
thing,
amazing.
those
amazing.
stand-up things that everybody has when you go to, we're all at the Oregon Recovery Walk, where they have their tarp.
Yes.
We were the only ones without a tarp.
Yes.
Where they have their
Yes.
stand-up
Yes.
thing that talks about their. We have a poster board.
Yes.
Okay, that
Yeah.
we used for
made
2
myself.
years. That sits on an Edsel. Okay,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
bought the first round of T-shirts we bought.
But it's cool because it's like Izzy when he first started. He talks about how he just asked people donated their shoes and all
Buying
that.
shoes from Goodwill.
That was our
We'll
home
be able
group.
to look back and
Our home group brought
remember
in the
this.
first shoes. Like our home group, just like I brought in shoes. There was like, yeah. And then his first, it's like that started out him just taking Daniel Torres
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
because Daniel was feeling trapped in treatment and needed to go running. Yeah.
And I think that, that's so good because when
It
you're
is.
able to be devoted to something and you're not doing it because of all of these things would happen. You get like
He was still
instantly.
working at Portland City Grill, riding his bike to work, getting hit on the bridge.
Oh yeah. I've heard some of the good stories.
Oh, he sent me pictures from the ER. I fell over. I got hit. Yeah.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
thank you
Thank you so much.
for
Thank you.
sharing
I
your
look forward
story.
to having you back
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
We
I would
do
love to.
follow-ups
Be an honor.
sometimes. We're going to be doing a follow-up. I'm just telling you now. And I'm going to read your whole book.
And wishing you much success with
Thank
your
you.
book,
Peter.
for
Thank you,
one.
Peter.
You're going to make a
and
difference,
for your
Austin.
treatment center. Yeah, it
Thank
sounds
you.
wonderful. Your
You
housing.
absolutely are. There's
Yeah,
no
you're
doubt
going
in my
places.
mind. Just stay on your path and don't do too much.
Yeah. Be balanced. I have a lot of good people in my corner to kind of hold me to that because I'm very honest.
I will whoop your
That
ass.
goes back to surrounding yourself.
Good people.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
does.
the right people.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love
We're
it.
billionaires in our
Yeah.
recovery. In our recovery capital.
Recovery capital, man. Billionaire. This is Julie for the Real Recovery Podcast.
And this is Peter here with Austin. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine, you're fine.
And thanks,
And thanks.
thanks for listening. That's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks to each and every one of you for lending us your ears and hearts. Your engagement is what fuels our passion and keeps this podcast thriving.
We cherish the moments we share here and hope they resonate with you, whether you're on a daily commute, at the gym, or just taking a moment for yourself.
Make sure to head over to our website at realrecoverypodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter for the latest insights and uplifting stories from our community delivered straight to your inbox.
Click that subscribe button on your favorite podcast player too, so you can keep up with every new episode. It's your support that keeps our conversation alive and meaningful.
And if our stories have touched you, consider using the donate button on our site. Your contributions, no matter the size, are deeply appreciated. They help us continue our mission of sharing hope and healing.
Join us beyond the podcast and follow our journey on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. All the links are on our site, so you can stay connected and be a part of the Real Recovery community every day.
Your likes, shares, and comments not only spread the message of recovery, but also remind us that we're all in this together.
So, until we meet again, remember that recovery is a journey, not a destination, and we'll be here to accompany you every step of the way to recovery, real recovery.
Thanks for listening.